Yeah, 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 yeah. I just gotta stay focused. I just gotta stay focused. Yeah. I just gotta stay focused. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just gotta stay focused. Yeah. Bible in my hand, I know I'm loaded. Yeah. Grew up kidding me, I never wrote it. Yeah, who told me to stay focused? Yeah. I never knew we were chosen. He came to me at my lowest. He told me give you this notice. We about to get out just like Moses. Looking at the bird pains. Listen to the birds sing. Yahuwah always wearing this. Yahuwah always been king. Yeah. Babylon is falling. Yahuwah been calling. We been at the bottom, but we ain't. Blessed are the humble. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are the poor and blessed are the weak. Blessed are the sheep. I take a rest when he commands me. The 7th day, not the first day of the week. Can't stay asleep. The enemy creeps. The enemy wanna see me in the weeping and gnashing of teeth. Not I. No, I just gotta stay focused. Yeah. I just gotta stay focused. Yeah. I just gotta stay. Yeah. I just gotta stay focused. Bible in my hand, I know I'm loaded. I just gotta stay focused now. I just gotta stay focused. Bible in my hand, I know I'm loaded. Why kidding me? I never wrote it. If it works, yeah, it works. I just gotta stay focused. Yeah. I just gotta stay focused. I just gotta stay focused. Yeah.
See a righteous man fall 7 times, same 7 times I get back up. Got the rock on me in the armor, instead of flesh really wanna act up. When I fast and pray in the sackcloth, got my thoughts going in the captive to the obedience of Messiah. Now my inner man on fire, yeah. It's a living word in the flesh, standing on truth, gotta give it my best. I stay low, never puffin' my chest. You show me the way, I move at your pace. All for y'all's esteem, yeah. Kingdom minded and righteousness. Never lacking, y'all gon' make it happen. Never moving without purpose. Ayy, I just gotta stay, I just gotta stay.
I just gotta stay focused. Yeah. I just gotta stay focused. Yeah. I just gotta stay focused. Bible in my hand, I know I'm loaded. I just gotta stay focused now. I just gotta stay focused. Bible in my hand, I know I'm loaded. Why kidding me? I never wrote it. I just gotta stay focused, yeah. I just gotta stay focused, yeah. I just gotta stay focused, yeah.
Proclaim the word, be urgent in season and out of season. Approve, warn, appeal, with all patience and teaching. Hallelujah.
Peace, everybody. We back with Word of Wisdom Wednesday. Been a little minute. It's been a little minute, but I'll get us started back up a little bit. I know folks still been doing it. I'm just saying for me. Been a little minute. Had to study a little more, dig a little deeper, learn some new things, grow in the word, take some time out to really dive in and learn. So I took a step back from Word of Wisdom Wednesday, trying to put something out just to put it out. That's really not my style anyway. Really want to make sure there's some depth to what I'm putting out, so that people can really change and grow to what God want them to be, want us all to be. So trying to make sure I put out something here that is really beneficial to our growth and our walk as servants of God. So this is the key here, learning in silence. It's hard to learn when you talking. It's hard to learn when you think you know or you got it all figured out. It's really hard to learn. So this idea of learning in silence, it ain't just a New Testament thing. I know it says women learn in silence, but that's not just for women to learn in silence. That's actually always been the case. But what Paul was addressing in First Corinthians, at least, addressing more and more women coming in. But we'll deal with that at another time in its totality. But the idea of learning in silence ain't nothing new. Just to show you, we'll get started actually. So peace, everybody. You know what time it is, Word of Wisdom Wednesday. Let's go into Isaiah 28. Isaiah 28. Isaiah the 28th chapter. Isaiah 28. Isaiah 28. And verse 9. This is a famous joint. Isaiah 28 and 9. He says, whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. Now, the ages that children are usually weaned about 2 to 4 years old. So the Lord or the Messiah explains this in the New Testament as well. Humbling yourself or becoming as a child. Because the child will learn and listen. The child knows they don't know. But it seems like the older we get, the more we think we know, right? And, some of you all who have children experience that as they get older, especially when they come into their teenage years, they got it figured out. But that's how we can become when we in this word trying to learn the God. We could get comfortable and, feel like we don't know. Feel like we don't need to know anything else. We got it. We're just going to ride it out till the Lord come back. And that's not really safe to do because there's a lot to learn. There's a big old, thick old joint. This Bible huge. So it's a lot to learn. So to admit that you got it figured out, or some say we got the truth, I don't think that's accurate, actually. We supposed to be learning truth, and if we have the truth, that means we don't have to learn nothing else. And that could be dangerous. That could be a dangerous mindset to have. So for starters, you would want to be coming as a child. Now, children are usually weaned from 2 to 4. They're really not talking much. So this idea of learning in silence is spoken of here in the 28th chapter of Isaiah. Let's go somewhere else. Let's go to Psalms 131. Let's go to Psalms 131. Psalms 131. Psalms 131 and 1. Again, we're attacking the idea of learning, or we're exploring the idea of learning in silence, right? Psalms 131 and 1. He says, Lord, my heart is not haughty, nor mine eyes lofty. So he's saying not proud, he humble, right? He says, neither do I exercise myself in great matters or in things too high for me. So even David, who writing the Psalms, is admitting some things he has to, are above him. Some things he has to still learn and figure out. How do we know this? Let's see. Surely, verse 2, I have behaved and quieted myself. Why is he doing that? Because these are some matters. There's some matters too great for him. He gotta still learn. Let me go back to verse 1. He says, Lord, my heart is not haughty, nor my eyes lofty, neither do I exercise myself in great matters or in things too high for me. So when I exercise, I'm not going to exercise myself in a matter, meaning if it's too high for me, if I really don't know, I'm going to be silent and learn. Verse 2 again, he says, surely I have behaved and quieted myself as a child that is weaned of his mother. When you come into the Lord or you really want to learn, you're going to be quiet. So this idea of learning And silence is not just for one part of creation, one part of man. It's for everyone to learn in silence. How else are you going to learn? He says, surely I behaved and quieted myself as a child that is weaned of his mother. My soul is even as a weaned child. His soul, his mind is even as a weaned child. He just want to learn. He just want to listen so he can learn. What if you know everything? First of all, let's go to the New Testament. Let's bounce around a little quick. Galatians 6 real quick. Galatians. And I believe who said that? One of the apostles said we don't even know what we're supposed to know. Maybe Paul said it. But anyway, Galatians chapter 6, we would just want to pull one verse out of here real quick. Galatians 6 and Galatians chapter 6 and verse 3. Galatians 6 and verse 3. He said, for if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. When you think you something and you really nothing, which technically we all ain't nothing, you really deceiving yourself. So people that claim they got it all figured out, they can't learn it. They've been doing this for whatever. They got it. They know. You can't tell them that they can't learn nothing new. They're gonna be in trouble because you're deceiving yourself. And when you deceive yourself, the Lord will give you over to the deception, right? He will send them strong delusion that they may believe a lie. Why? Because they would not have this reproof. They wouldn't turn. He would try to reveal the spirit unto them. That's more understanding. As it's spoken of in Proverbs, the 1st chapter. You didn't want it. All right. You got it figured out. We're going to give you over to your own beliefs. And that's it. And that's not what we want. You see, David, he said he humbled himself. He quieted himself as a weaned child. Isaiah said, who does he teach knowledge to? Who does the Lord teach knowledge to? Those that are drawn from the breast, right? Weaned from the breast, drawn from the milk. So let's go into another prophet. Let's go into Job. Let's go into Job. And this is just the warm up. We're gonna get back to it, Lord. Well, I could get it going weekly again. So this is just the warm up, getting the wheels turning for what's in the upcoming lessons, Lord willing. Let's go to Job chapter 6. Let's go to Job chapter 6. Job chapter 6. Job chapter 6. Job chapter 6. And verse 24. Then we're going to run to Ecclesiastes. All right, Job chapter 6. Job chapter 6 and 24. What does he say? Teach me and I'm going to be quiet. He said, teach me and I will hold my tongue. Teach me and I will hold my tongue. And when you do, and cause me to understand wherein I have erred. And when you think you know everything, you're not going to be quiet. But Job, wise enough to know, if he's quiet, he can hear. It's hard to hear when you're talking, right? Like this guy here. Let's go to let's go to Proverbs 10. Go to Proverbs 10. Go to Proverbs 10. Let's go to Proverbs 10. And let's see what we want. I know it's in here. Hold on. Give me a second. Hold on. Do I got to use my cheat code? Y'all bear with me. I know it's in Proverbs 10. Hold on. Give me a second. Yeah. All right, Proverbs 10 and verse 7. Proverbs 10 and verse 7. It says, the memory of the just is blessed. There we go. Just is all over the Bible. The memory of the righteous, just, the equitable. The memory of the just is blessed, but the name of the wicked shall rot. So the opposite of just is unjust or unequal, unbalanced. So if anybody's teaching from a perspective of inequality, that would be wicked. But let's continue. Verse 8. The wise in heart will receive commandments. See, when they wise in heart, that's going to cause them what? Be quiet, ain't it? The wise in heart will receive commandments. Because if you're receiving the word, you ain't talking. The wise in heart will receive commandments, but a prating fool shall fall. You know what a prater is? Let me see if we can pull up prating. You know, I like to do this. If anybody watches on the weekend, I like to pull up stuff. Let's go to it. Let's pull up prating. Let's pull up prating for a second. You know, it's like I like to do this right here. Break down the words. Hold on, let's break it down. Let me pull these graphics off for us real quick. So let me show you. Let's go to, hopefully that's good enough. Hopefully I can see that. Let me yeah. All right, let's go to prating. Proverbs what? 10. Proverbs 10. What's that? 8. Proverbs 10 and 8. Let's look at prating. So the first thing you see lips. This is 8193 in Hebrew, safal. Lips, speech, and edge, right? Let's get down to it though. Let's see what he's talking about. Bread, bring, edge, language. So this individual is clearly running his mouth, right? So it says the lip. Then we get down here. What does it say? Prating, speech, talk, and ultimately we get to what? Vain words. So this individual is just busy running their mouth. That individual just running his mouth. So how could you receive commandments if you just running your mouth? That's what a prating fool is. Somebody just vain talking, just running their mouth. Let's keep reading. Let's see if we can find something else. Hold on. Let's see if we can find something else in here. Verse 10. He that winketh with the eye causeth sorrow, but a prating fool shall fall. Just vain talkers, you just babbling, you gonna fall. So it's hard to receive commandments you running your mouth. You ain't learning in silence, you talking. You a babbler. Let's go see about a babbler. Ecclesiastes 11, I think, or 10. Follow me to Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter. Like I said, this is just a warm up. We're going to be out of here in a few. Get the wheels turning. So right now, we're trying to find wisdom and find learning and understanding. So the object or the key to finding understanding is to what? Be quiet. This goes for everybody, right? So who should be learning in silence? Everyone. Say it with me. Everyone, right? Everyone should be learning in silence. Ecclesiastes 10 and verse 11. Verse 11, it says, surely the serpent will bite without enchantment. So a snake gonna bite you. You ain't even gotta bother him. A snake will bite you. You can just mind your business. A snake can come up and bite you. He says, surely the serpent will bite without enchantment, and a babbler is no better. Just running your mouth for no reason. This is a prating fool. You can't receive commandments if you talking so much. You a babbler. You just like a serpent. You running your mouth. People that talk all the time, talk so much, can't listen, can't learn. You ain't no better than a serpent. You a beast. Verse 12, the words of a wise man's mouth are gracious, but the lips of a fool will swallow of himself. Let's go. Let's stay around in this area. Let's go to Proverbs. Let's see. Want to go to Proverbs? Let's go to Proverbs 2, I think. Proverbs 2. Proverbs 2. Proverbs 2 and verse 1. Proverbs 2 and 1. My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee. Remember, the wise will receive commandments, right? But if you talking, you babbling, you're not going to receive them. So it ain't going to make it into your heart or your mind if you talking so much. But this is what we want to get at. Verse 4. He says, if thou seekest her as silver, seeketh what? Verse 3. Yet if thou criest after knowledge and lifted up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver and searching for her as for hid treasures. What do people tell you to do when they're looking for something? You ever try to talk to somebody that's looking for something? What do they tell you? Shh. So if we're looking for wisdom and understanding, should we be talking? We should be ready to listen first, right? He's telling you to seek this wisdom and understanding like you're seeking after hidden treasure. They're concentrating. When you ever looking for something, you concentrate. Somebody babbling off at the mouth, you're like, man, right, not right now. I'm looking for something. But that's how it is when you learn it. That's what learning in silence means. Let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah 58. This has always been the message. So when we eventually get to that 1 Corinthians 14, which we'll do, Lord willing in the future, Lord willing, we're going to understand that everybody got to learn in silence. And that's why he was telling those individuals in 1 Corinthians 14, everybody can't be talking at one time. Isaiah 58 in verse 13. Isaiah 58 and verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways. But when it comes to Sabbath, you can't be doing whatever you want to do, playing video games, whatever you normally do. You wouldn't want to be doing that on the Sabbath. He said, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasures, but here's the key right here, nor speaking thine own words. So what he's saying is you got to, most certainly, you must be willing to listen first. So he said, not finding thine own words. So you're not looking for something to say necessarily on this day. You're not looking to speak all day or run your mouth as you would normally do in other days of the week. You're there to listen and learn on the Sabbath. That's what you're there for. Let's go see the opposite. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 5. Ecclesiastes, the 5th chapter. Ecclesiastes 5. Matter of fact, he tell you in the 9th chapter, I think, the words of the wise, they are heard in secret or quiet. Matter of fact, we might read that one too if I find it. Go to Ecclesiastes. Yeah. Matter of fact, let's go, Ecclesiastes 9. Let's read that real quick. Ecclesiastes 9. Ecclesiastes 9 and 16. Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter, verse 16. Ecclesiastes 9 and 16. He says, then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. That's why you don't look on the outer appearance. That's why you don't have respect of persons. Just if it's wisdom, just listen. Don't even look at the outward appearance. Don't even worry about what they look like. Listen. And you can't do that by writing somebody off on the rip because they ain't known or you never met them before or you never heard of them. So automatically you write them off. That's not a good idea, because you will be fulfilling this scripture in the wrong way by despising the poor man's wisdom. Because you don't want to listen. You know it. But verse 17, what does it say? The words of wise men are heard in quiet, more than the cry of him that ruleth among fools. So it ain't about no popularity contest. Matter of fact, the ones that are most popular aren't telling the truth, actually. It's an African proverb. They say the more the person that tell the truth, he don't have that many friends. So when people speak well of you, like he say, they did to the false prophets. So it ain't about everybody you filling bleachers, or you filling stadiums out, or you got the biggest church or whatever. That's a red flag, actually, that you might not be telling the truth. Ecclesiastes 5, though. Ecclesiastes 5, because we read in Isaiah about not finding your own words and all that, right? You should be ready to listen, right? Learn, right? Ecclesiastes 5:1. He says, keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God, and be more ready to what? Hear, than to give the sacrifice of fools. We read about a fool, right? He was prating, running his mouth, just babbling, just talking to be talking. And that's what you'll find. You'll have people new coming into the so-called word, and they'll just be bringing in all the stuff they done heard, and they just be talking a lot. And you got to tell them, calm down, just relax, just listen. So he says, keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. You running your mouth, you speaking vain things. You don't even know you're doing evil. You're not even there to learn. You're not even learning nothing because you're talking. You just speaking vain words. You a prating fool. Verse 2, look what he say. Be not rash with thy mouth. You know how to keep yourself from being rash with your mouth? Learning in silence. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before God. For God is in heaven, and thou upon earth. Therefore, let thy words be what, everybody? Few. So you going into the presence of God, the right mindset, quietness, silence. This is what you go to church and do. You come to church and be silent and learn. Right? That's what he's saying here. Same message so far throughout all the scriptures we read. In order to learn, you must be silent. And it'll help you with your speech as well. Proverbs, the 15th chapter. And yeah, we're doing pretty good. Proverbs, the 15th chapter. Feel good, I must say. Feel good a little bit. Getting back here and doing this. Proverbs 15. Proverbs 15. Proverbs 15. Let's see. This is what we want. Let's see. Yeah, Proverbs 15 and 28. Proverbs 15 and 28. So this practice here about learning in silence will transition or carry on into other aspects of your life, right? So look what he says here in Proverbs 15 and 28. The heart of the righteous studieth to answer. You know what that means? They quiet first. Just thinking before you speaking. So if you are listening, if you're quiet while receiving words, you'll be quiet before you utter anything out of your mouth, right? That's why he said in Ecclesiastes, do not be hasty. Don't let your heart be hasty to utter anything before God. But this practice of learning in silence will translate into other parts of your life where you are not the first one to speak all the time. And it's hard to do, especially with the more information you understand. Sometimes it'll be hard. Sometimes you get puffed up and think you know everything. It could happen. But this is just, helping us maintain the mindset of a humble state, so where the Lord can continue to work with us, and then he will lift us up, right? So he said, the heart of the righteous studieth to answer, but what happens when you run in your mouth, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things. You don't know what you're talking about because you didn't study to answer. You got when you are not quiet or silent or quick to learn, you will be saying things and you don't know what you're talking about, and that's dangerous. Very dangerous. So let's go into Luke. I want to read this in Luke, right? I want to read this in Luke chapter. Before I go to Luke, let's go back to Job, and then we'll go to Luke. Job 29. We'll read a couple more, and then that'll be it. Job 29. Job 29. Job 29. And this is Job when he was standing up for the word of God, and he had respect amongst the people. They would be quiet when he was talking. Job 29 and 20. He says, my glory was fresh in me, and my bow was renewed in my hand. Unto me men gave ear and waited and kept silence at my counsel. How else can we learn if we talking? We can't. Got to be silent. Learn in silence. If you do not know what you're talking about, if you're not sure of what you're talking about, your first notion should be to listen. Learn in silence, right? Did he separate a man or a woman in these verses here? This is Old Testament, so it should be all women being quiet and learning in silence, right? But that's not the case. Now let's go to Luke chapter 2. Like if anything seems unequal, if anything is being taught in an unequal manner, then I would argue that God is not there. Because his habitation is judgment, justice, equality. That's when you know the Lord is here. It's in Psalms 89. You can read it on your own. Luke chapter 2. Luke chapter 2. Luke chapter 2 and verse 27, just to get the location here. Luke 2 and 27 says, and he came by the Spirit into the temple, and when the parents brought in the child Jesus to do for him after the custom of the law, then took he him up in his arms and blessed God and said, Lord, now lettest thou thy servant depart in peace according to thy word. So I'll just give you the location. This is another individual who came into the temple where Christ was, and that's what he spoke. What we want to point out is someone else. Verse 36. They're in the temple, in the church, right? This New Testament, so-called. Verse 36. And there was one Anna, a prophetess, the daughter of Phanuel, of the tribe of Asher. She was of a great age and had lived with an husband 7 years from her virginity. And she was a widow of about 84 years, which departed not from the temple, but served God with fastings and prayers night and day. And she coming in that instant gave thanks likewise unto the Lord, and spake of him to all them that looked for redemption in Jerusalem. Do you think anybody was talking while she was talking, or while she was talking? Do you think they were learning in silence? What y'all think? When she was talking, was everybody else learning in silence? They were learning in silence. How else are you gonna learn? So this idea we just looking at, and it's just prepping us for future lessons, Lord willing. The idea of learning in silence is for every believer or servant of God. So it says she was a prophetess. That's why they said let the prophet speak by two or three. See, if you think it excludes a prophetess, then that would be wrong. Because then the idea of a woman covering her head to pray or prophesy, you would be saying that she can't do that inside the church, or she got to do it in her head or something. And that would be foolish, actually. Where we going? Let's go into second. This will probably be it right here. You know what? Yeah, 2 Corinthians 3. I think. This will probably be it here. 2 Corinthians. You know what? Do I want to read one more? I think I want to read one more. Let me find it. I know the other one I want to go to. I know I want to be 1 Corinthians. Okay. Let's go to Job 28 first. 28. Then we're gonna end it in 1 Corinthians 3. Job. And we trying to find the understanding of God, right? We trying to learn. That's the purpose of us doing all this, is to learn. Isaiah 20. Keep saying Isaiah. Job 28. Job 28 and verse 12. Job 28 and 12. But where shall wisdom be found, and where is the place of understanding? It says, man knoweth not the price thereof, neither is it found in the land of the living. So you got to seek somebody else. You got to seek somebody that's not of this earth, and he only communicates, his method of communication is where? Here. You can't even, you talking, running your mouth, you talking and talk, you can't hear this. This is where he communes at. Even when somebody's speaking to you, the word of God, the interpretation is coming through here. What you gather from what they're speaking, or you ultimately understanding what they're speaking to you, is coming from the interpretation of God. He's a secret revealer. But if you steady talking, you're not even going to really understand, because you didn't even hear it out. That's why in Proverbs 18, he tell you, if he that answer a matter before he hear it, it's shame. It's shameful and foolishness unto him. But we're looking for the depths of knowledge. He said it ain't even found in the land of the living. So if it's not, then it's going to take some seeking and searching, and you're going to really have to concentrate. So the silence is necessary. Verse Verse 14. The depth saith, it is not in me. The sea saith, it is not with me. It cannot be gotten for gold, neither shall silver be weighed for the price thereof. You can't buy this. That's why I be getting on folks who I see who try to sell this. How you trying to sell the wisdom of God? That is crazy. We claim to be in the word and we got the truth, but you selling the word of God? You selling the wisdom of God? Is not for sale. So if you begin selling it, I bet you it's not really the wisdom of God then. I bet you it's not. It can't be gotten for gold. So there's some manipulation in there. There's some corruption in there. You begin to sell it. Because the Lord in control of all that. The wisdom, understanding, you begin putting a price tag on it. It's really not all the truth. It's a lie. There's some lies all up through there. God is not mocked. So we're just looking at the importance of trying to find knowledge. But when you're on a treasure hunt, when you're seeking, like I said previously, when you're looking for something, you don't need no distractions, right? You're not doing all this talking when you're looking for something. Even when you're trying to find somebody's house or a location, what do? Turn the music down, don't you? Even if kids or somebody else in the car talking about, hold on, wait. Same thing with, even more so with the word of God, because he commune in the mind. When you're reading this Bible, do you hear a voice or you hear something in your head? You're not over talking the scriptures. So when the knowledge is being placed on the table, you should be quiet and listen. And then when they're done speaking, you can determine by the spirit that's within you whether or not it's true or not. Now, we already know that the Lord had judgment, made judgment or sentence against these individuals who take away the key of knowledge. Yeah, praise God. So the Lord already testified against these Pharisees or these rulers at the time that they take away the key of knowledge because they don't think it's necessary. They stop you from doing the research or reading or going after it. Right? And then we're not talking about your everyday church person. We're talking about these leaders, the government. What do? They hide the knowledge, don't they? They take away the key of knowledge. So you really got to search and dig and seek this thing out. But if you think you know everything, you run your mouth, you got it all. Because the person that think they know everything, they gonna keep talking. They're gonna talk the most. They don't want to listen. All right. So now, in order to learn again, let's go to 1 Corinthians 3. First Corinthians 3. Yeah. Yeah. This is it. We're going to end it here. And I'll see you next week, Lord willing. 1 Corinthians 3 and 16. 1 Corinthians 3 and 16. Know you not that you are the temple of God. So you are housing the Spirit of God, right? So where's the Spirit of God if you the temple? He within you. So where do you think you're going to hear his voice at? That's why you got to meditate. Did he say meditate on the word day and night? How else you going to hear him? He's inside. Know you not that you are the temple of God and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? But this is what we want, verse 19. This is the key to learning. Quietness. Silence. For the wisdom, this is verse 19. Excuse me. Well, verse 19, this is good too. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. That's including you or us. That's why the heart is deceitful above all things. Who can know it? It's desperately wicked. So you are a part of this world. So if you go in with your own feelings, how you feel, it just feel right. It just feel like the right. It feel like he telling it. Nuh-uh. You have to really search it out. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God, for it is written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. You know what that means? Your own mind. Get off of what you feel, what you think. You have to learn and know. And the key to that is being quiet and admitting you don't know. And you need to be quiet. Verse 18, here we go. Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool. A fool really don't know what to say. They shouldn't be, they quiet. It's like being dumb. Be quiet. Let him become a fool, that he may be wise. So the key of learning, the key to learning is silence. So hope y'all learned something here. Lord willing, I'll catch y'all next week, Lord willing. Before then, hopefully we'll have a lesson on the Sabbath concerning or just picking up from where we left off a week ago with the marriage contract. But anyway, Lord willing, I'll see you later. Peace.